What's up, guys? It's your boy Freddy here. Today, we're going to get right into the charts and talk about Friday's sell-off for the stock market that has a lot of investors panicking over the weekend. Now, before we begin, I want to encourage you guys all to join my trading Discord. If you want to level up your trading, if you want to maximize profits, go ahead and check out my trading Discord. I post short-term setups, I post long-term setups. I also do daily market analysis to help you guys succeed in trading. So go ahead and check that out. Now, before we begin, I want to talk about my latest video about Palantir and Grab and make a few updates to this charts. Now, if you guys haven't checked out this video, I encourage you guys all to watch this video. I talk about how Palantir and Grab has a lot of hype in the retail community, but the stocks are not fundamentally strong yet. And so that is exactly what happened with Palantir. The Palantir went from $125 to $100 with the sharp sell-off here, and Grab with the same thing went from $5.50 to around $4.80 after earnings. And so these two stocks are playing out exactly like I expected. And of course, the S&P 500 has seen a sharp sell-off on Friday. Now, if you look at the S&P 500, right, a lot of bearish investors are calling for a double top, a failed breakout right here around 612. You can see the S&P 500 tried to reach 613, 612, but failed and got rejected right back down, and has a lot of people calling for 580, 570, 560. And I actually beg to differ. Now, before we go deeper into the charts, I want to go ahead and briefly talk about the news. It says on CNBC, Dow dropped 700 points for the worst day of 2025 on fears of economic growth. And you can see that losses intensified into the close as traders feared staying long into a weekend that could bring another barrage of headlines from the Trump administration, which has proposed a flurry of tariffs and other market-moving policy changes since taking charge a month ago. You can see that, this is nothing new, right? Every single weekend, there's always fear about Trump, talking about tariffs, Trump talking about this, talking about that. And I believe that the media is trying to recycle old news to bring about false fear into the stock market. And if you continue reading down into the article, it says that the University of Michigan consumer sentiment fell, and that raised concerns about higher inflation ahead from possible new tariffs. Walmart shares fell 2.5%, issuing a weaker than expected forecast. And then we have Steve Cohen sharing negative comments about the market and economy from a conference in Miami. So a flurry of negative news, stoking investor fear. And I talked about this in a previous video about Doge layoffs possibly affecting the unemployment report and the economy. And all that is factoring in to a sharp sell-off in the stock market on Friday. Again, we have released on Friday as well. Chinese team finds new bat coronavirus that can infect humans via the same route as COVID-19. You can see how the media is desperate to spread fear, possibly even institutions, just before Nvidia and PCE reports later this week. And not only that, we also had 2.7 trillion of options set for expiration on Friday. I believe this was the main cause of the sharp stock market sell-off on Friday. And of course, in addition to all the other news that I mentioned earlier. Now, if the stock market were to sell off even harder, right? Let's say there were extreme fear, let's say the fear was very real, then you would see a lot of the S&P 500 and the Dow dropping 1,000 points, S&P dropping 2%, NASDAQ dropping 3%. But that is not exactly what we saw on Friday. We saw a stop exactly at the 61.8% retracement level at 599. If it were to drop again on Monday to around the 78.6 level, I believe that these two levels will act as strong support going into next week, just before Nvidia reports earnings and the PCE inflation report on Friday. Now, if you look at the VIX spiked on Friday, but it didn't have the same magnitude as it did on prior VIX spikes. You can see that this one went to 30, this one went to 25, 22. The VIX spikes are getting weaker and weaker, right? If this were to be the main, market sell-off, the recession event, the VIX would be spiking a lot higher. And the initial spike wouldn't be this small of a spike either. And because this was a small spike, and you can see that it's below a VIX 20 level, I believe that this eventually subsides, taking the stock market much higher. That's exactly what I see going forward. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, give me a follow. Let me know what you guys think about the S&P 500 going forward into NVIDIA earnings this week and PCE. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.